All right, today we are diving deep into the AI coding assistant Claude Code. We're going to go way beyond the basics and share 6, honestly, game-changing secrets that come straight from one of its creators, Boris Cherny. And these tips are going to fundamentally change how you build software. So let's get right into it. So have you ever felt like you're hand-holding your AI coding assistant? Like it asks for permission more than a toddler? That constant back and forth. But can I proceed? Can I do this? It just completely shatters your focus and kills your productivity. But what if there was a better way? What if you could flip that script? We're going to show you exactly how to go from being an AI micromanager to being a true project lead. Imagine delegating huge, complex tasks to an autonomous teammate that can just work for hours on end without ever breaking your stride. To make that leap, though, we've got to start with a solid foundation. These first 2 secrets are all about setting up your environment to really unleash that autonomous power. Okay, secret number 1 is an absolute game changer. Use auto mode. This one feature directly attacks that biggest frustration we just talked about. So instead of constantly bugging you for permission, the AI just uses its own judgment. It's a brilliant feature that lets it work for hours on end without you needing to sign off on every little thing. Now, that brings us to secret number 2, which builds right on top of auto mode. You need to front load all of your instructions. See, the latest version of Claude is incredibly good at understanding a really long list of directions. So instead of feeding it little tasks one by one, you give it the entire project scope right from the jump. I mean, just look at the level of detail in this example prompt. This is not a vague request. It's a full-on project brief for a management app, spelling out the core features, the data structure, even the tech stack. This is the kind of front-loading that really sets the AI up for a home run. So what happens when you combine those 2 secrets? The result is pretty incredible. From that one single detailed prompt, with auto mode switched on, Claude Code can build a complete, fully functional, and honestly a great-looking application, all by itself. Okay, so this sounds amazing, right? You've just sent your AI off on a task that could take hours. But how do you stay in the loop? How do you check in on its progress without completely derailing the whole process? Well, these next 2 secrets have you covered. Secret number 3 is such a simple but powerful command, /recap. When you type this in, the AI just gives you a single sentence summary of everything it's done so far. It's like the perfect little executive summary on demand. Just think about how you'd use this. You let the AI run overnight, or maybe you just step away for a couple of hours. When you come back, instead of digging through a bunch of logs or code, you just type /recap. And this really highlights the new mindset, right? You're not checking on a tool, you're getting a status update from your new teammate. And that flows perfectly into secret number 4, turn on notifications. It's literally as simple as telling Claude, hey, ping me after each task is complete. This is so important because it lets you delegate a huge piece of work. Then you can completely switch your focus, get back into that deep flow state, and just wait for a ping when the job is done. All right, we've nailed the setup and the workflow. Now it's time to level up. Let's talk about the pro-level controls that give you that really precise, granular power, the kind of stuff that turns you from a user into a true director of your AI's work. Secret number 5 is all about mastering the effort command. Think of this as the throttle for how much total energy and time the AI is going to put into a task. The recommendation from the creators pretty straightforward. Use max for that big initial front-loaded prompt, and then for most of the features and changes you add later, just stick with extra high. And that brings us to our final secret, number 6, and it's a new feature called adaptive thinking. This is the new way you can control the depth of the AI's thought process. It actually replaces the old extended thinking toggle with something way more flexible, because now you control it right inside your prompt. So, how's it work? It's really simple. For a super complex task, you literally just add the phrase, think carefully step by step about this. But for a quick little tweak, like changing a button color, you can tell it to prioritize responding quickly rather than thinking deeply. You get to decide the AI's thinking budget for every single step. Okay, so it is super important to understand the difference here. Effort is the big picture. It controls the total time and resources for the entire task. Thinking, on the other hand, is the small picture. It controls the depth of analysis for each individual step inside that task. It's really the difference between macro and micromanagement. So you see, when you put all of these secrets together, it becomes way more than just a list of tips. It really represents a fundamental shift in how you should be thinking about and collaborating with your AI. So let's just do a super quick recap of the 6 keys to this new paradigm. First, we use auto mode to let the AI work on its own. Then, we front load our instructions to give it a crystal clear mission. We use slash recap and notifications to stay in sync without breaking our flow. And finally, we use slash effort and adaptive thinking to direct the project at both the big picture and the step-by-step level.
And really, this is what it all boils down to. This is the core idea. You are evolving your role. You're no longer just guiding a tool, telling it what to do step by step. You are now leading an autonomous agent, setting the high-level direction and letting it handle the complex work. So, with these secrets in your back pocket, your AI is more capable than ever. It's ready to take on massive, complex projects with very little supervision. The only question left is, are you ready to make that shift and actually start leading?